Turkey has formally asked to join the BRICS group of emerging market nations. Sources say President Erdogan's government wants to bolster its global influence and forge new ties beyond its traditional Western allies. Bloomberg's Turkey economy and government reporter Beril Akman joins us now. Beril, I've got to ask, why is Turkey interested in joining the BRICS? So what is it hoping to get out of this? Because in parallel, we know there are Turkey-EU accession talks going on.
I think Turkey is trying to do a few things here. One, President Erdogan for a long time has criticized Western dominance in the world and in politics, for example, criticizing the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council. So here it's trying to look for alternatives to this Western dominance. It's leading a dual strategy at the same time. We should not read this as a pivot away from Turkey moving away from its traditional Western allies like the US or the EU, but it's leading almost a dual strategy. And at the same time, BRICS allows Turkey new markets. The group there makes a significant portion of the GDP, so it can give it new trade routes, new markets, ways to improve its economy. And this all comes amid, like you said, some frustration with the EU. Turkey has a decades-long bid to enter the EU as a member, and that has stalled, and there's a lot of frustration there. So it's a way for Turkey to move away and explore new international blocs to become a more prominent actor in the global arena.
Yeah, so fascinating, especially when you talk about some of the perhaps trading opportunities that would be offered to Turkey should they join BRICS. But again, you have to think of who the other members are in BRICS. And you're talking about Brazil, you're talking about Russia, India, China. Obviously, Russia are in it. What sort of implications is that going to have on Turkey's relationship with the West and, of course, as a NATO member?
That's a very good question. But if you look at Turkey's strategy or foreign policy, in recent years, it has always tried to achieve a balancing act. Even as a NATO ally, even during in the ongoing war in Ukraine, Turkey has maintained good ties with Russia, economically, trade-wise, politically, and that has frustrated NATO members. And reports that Turkey has allowed some ways to circumvent Western sanctions on Russia has also drawn the ire of its Western allies. But Turkey has said that this is, like I said, not a pivot away from its allies, but it's more of a balancing act, and it sees that the geopolitical center or the global order is changing, so it's trying to maintain good ties with both ways. But we'll have to see what the reaction from its Western allies will be.